name is Carrie Wilson. I'm the Executive Director of Calvert Library. I'd like to officially welcome you to the groundbreaking ceremony for the new Calvert Library Twin Beaches branch. So since the elements were not so in favor of us today, we're going to pretend that we're locked down the street. We'll be going down there after this for anyone who's willing to get a little drizzle on them to do the official dirt moving. But we'll do our speeches here. And although we'll have the pleasure of hearing from many of these folks today, I did want to go ahead and recognize our dignitaries that are in the room. So Delegate Jones, Delegate Rachel Jones is here from the General Assembly. Commissioner Hance, Commissioner Weems, Commissioner McConaughey, Commissioner Gadway, and Commissioner Hart are all here today. We also have Register of Wills, Margaret Phipps. Mayor Mike Benton. Mayor Pat Mahoney. This may not be protocol. We have former Mayor Mark Frazier here today. And then we have North Beach Town Council members Mickey Hummel, their youngest citizens, Paul Troncone, and special thanks to Paul for helping us with some of the IT and getting broadband to the new library stuff. Elizabeth Lawton, and Greg Dodson, here from North Beach. From the Chesapeake Beach Town Council, we have Larry Jaworski and Peggy Hartman. And any of your colleagues?
Yes.
There's
Charlie Fink.
Thank you, Charlie. Charlie Fink also helped us with the design. And since I'm looking at her, former councilperson Gwen is also here, so she helped a lot with this design. Yes, sir. Oh my goodness, we have State's Attorney Bob Harvey with us. Thank you, Bob. All right, we also have Secretary George Owings, Secretary of Veterans Affairs, and Gretchen Hardman, who represents the governor here in Southern Maryland. I think I've done it.
Councilmember Lauren Calvert.
Thank you, Lauren. Lauren Calvert is also here from North Beach Town Council. All right. So now it is my distinct, I also have the State Librarian Irene Padilla here. All right, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce Ariane Odin, who's a tribal member of the Piscataway Conway tribe. And she's going to share a land acknowledgement with us this afternoon.
Program had said that our Chief Jesse Swan would be able to be here to do this today, and he regrets that he's unable to. He's tied up in the many meetings and phone calls regarding the State Highway Administration and the renaming of Indian Head Highway to Piscataway Highway, and that has now become a designation of a road. So for that he apologizes, and he'd like to send this blessing. I ask the Creator, bless this new library going into Calvert County today. Bring much joy to all the young and old alike. May it not only bring joy to their lives, but much knowledge about not only current events and other topics, but grant them the desire to know more about the original inhabitants of this land, my people, the Piscataway people. I ask that Mother Earth sheds her tears today for all the atrocities in the world. We know that some can be washed away by the rain, and others we actually have to work on. We need to work on those things together. Just as our people were accepting of new uninvited people coming to our lands, our people accepted them. We may not always get along, but with knowledge, we can find a way to work together, or at least pass our differences. The key is knowledge. We must honor our librarians as we are teachers, for they are the key to our past and the bridge to our young generation, to our future. I ask my ancestors to guide all the librarians, employees, visitors to this library, give them strength that where they are most needed, give them knowledge where they are seeking it, give them the friendship. May it be with a librarian, a fellow visitor, or a new book. I wish all of you peace in your hectic lives and hope to see you in the future. Many blessings, ahoy. So the land acknowledgement is centuries old. And as she mentioned, I am an enrolled member of the Piscataway Conoy tribe. It's the proper pronunciation of it. It's usually Piscataway that people mispronounce, but it's okay, right? There are thousands of us that still live here in Maryland. There are many that are unenrolled, probably making those numbers much higher. But please stand with me to proceed for a land acknowledgement, this very old tradition to honor today. We acknowledge the grounds that we are currently on, our ancestral homelands of the Piscataway people. We acknowledge that our people lived here, many footsteps through these lands for thousands of years before the colonists landed on our land. We acknowledge that the lands of our ancestors cover all the western banks of the Chesapeake, including all of southern Maryland, Charles, Calvert, and St. Mary's counties, Howard County, Anne Arundel County, Prince George's County, Montgomery County, Baltimore City, and Baltimore County, Frederick County, Washington County, and Carroll counties, as well as present-day Washington, D.C., into Virginia, Northern Virginia, and the Northern Neck, and parts of the Panhandle of western banks of Virginia. We acknowledge that these lands of the Piscataway are the unceded lands of these present-day counties. We acknowledge that there were multiple treaties entered into with our people, and all were broken. The only treaty to be restored is from Washington, D.C., when they recently restored our fishing and hunting rights last year. We acknowledge that our people were not citizens of this land that was stolen from them until 1920 and did not own land of their own. We acknowledge many states did not allow us to vote until the 1960s. We acknowledge that many of these people did not receive acknowledgement until the 1950s and 60s during the Civil Rights Movement. We recognize that although millions of people came and continue to come to this country for religious freedom, it wasn't until 1978, when the American Indian Freedom Religious Act was passed, that our people, along with Native Americans across the country, were allowed to exercise their traditional religions by ensuring access to sites, use and possession of sacred objects, and the freedom to worship through ceremonies and religious traditional rites. We acknowledge that our people were here for thousands of years before the colonists and were not recognized as the Piscataway Conoy tribe, along with the Piscataway Indian Nation, until 2012, when Governor Martin O'Malley granted our Maryland state recognition. After fighting for 40 to 50 years to be recognized, we acknowledge that neither the Piscataway Conoy tribe nor the Piscataway Indian Nation currently have federal recognition. This after being one of the tribe's first contacts. We acknowledge that the Piscataway citizens of both tribes currently have to pay property taxes on stolen lands of their ancestors. We acknowledge that no other race of people have to prove who they are. Thank you for the opportunity to do this land acknowledgement, and we pray that you will be good stewards of the water and the land. We pray your building will be a refuge for all people, and knowledge will flow through its doors. Calvert's library system is a jewel and valued resource in our community. Continue to educate and inform others, to live in harmony with Mother Nature and with all people, and embrace everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Piscataway, Conoy, I get it right. We're lifelong learners. The other indigenous people of North America are excellent role models for public libraries. Their history of storytelling, learning from one another, connection to community, stewardship of resources, and sharing those resources with one another. These are contributions and ways of being that Calvert Library strives to emulate for our story times, book lending services, and materials shareable by all, as well as our events to celebrate and connect with one another. I deeply appreciate your reminder to us that we are not the first to inhabit this land. We honor that, and will strive to make the new library location welcoming to all, serving as a source of information and inspiration for generations to come. I'd like to next invite Commissioner McConkey to the podium. You're going to defer to Commissioner Hans, fair enough. Library buildings are county buildings, and this new facility in particular would not be possible without the support of our present and previous county commissioners. So, Commissioner Hans. There you go.
So thank you, Carrie. On behalf of myself and all the commissioners that are in attendance today, we want to thank all those people that worked so hard on this project. The library board, both towns, Chesapeake and North Beach, the mayors, the councils. This project just doesn't happen overnight. You know, it's one of those things that takes years to work on. And so today we're here to celebrate the culmination of that process. And I want to especially thank the town of North Beach for getting a $250,000 grant to go towards the project and contributing some land. And, you know, libraries are a focal point of every community. You know, it's where both young and old go to learn. You know, we learn, I tell everybody I learn something new every day. And I think everybody does. You know, you learn something new every day. And libraries are a place where people go seeking knowledge about specific topics or maybe just about life in general. So this is going to be a very important project for the town. And you know, when I grew up, it was the beach. I lived in South County. Nobody said North Beach or Chesapeake Beach. What are you doing? We're going to the beach. And everybody knew where you were going when you said you were going to the beach. We were coming north. So the old amusement park, I mean, I still remember the amusement park to this day and all the great times that we had there growing up. So the beaches have always been an important part of Calvert County. And even though they're a little far north, we don't forget where you are and how important you are to the contributions that you make to Calvert County. I also want to take this opportunity to thank Chesapeake Construction Company, John Bailey and his crew for all their work. You know, whenever we do a big project in Calvert County, it's especially exciting when a good local company gets the job so that that money stays local. So we are very happy to see that Chesapeake Construction Company is going to do this project. John tells me he thinks it's about a year-long project, so if I'm lucky enough to get through a couple election cycles, maybe next year I'll be here to cut a ribbon. And that'll be another, even more exciting day where we actually have the building to look at and to use. But once again, just on behalf of all the county commissioners, I want to thank all of you that worked so hard on this project. And in about 12 months, we're going to see the fruits of your work, and it'll be a great day of celebration. So thank you for having us.
Hear, hear.
Thank you, Commissioner Hans. We are truly thankful for the support of the commissioners. I've heard multiple times, especially during this year's budget process, that each of you believe that government exists to provide services to the community. And I thank you for your commitment to making sure that a strong public library system is one of those valued services. They truly, I mean, they don't give me every dollar that I ask for budgetarily, but they consistently understand that public library is accessible community education and a vital source for personal growth. So thank you, gentlemen, and to all of your predecessors in the role who've been part of this as well. Really appreciate it. County staff have also been incredibly important to this effort. I didn't recognize County Administrator Willis, but he's here and has helped guide things, as well as his predecessor, Terry Shannon. Community Resources Director Jennifer Moreland is my county liaison and does a million things to make my job easier to do. Veronica Atkinson is the Capital Projects Analyst, and she makes money show up where it needs to be, when it needs to be there. Sharon Strand, Beth Richardson, and the rest of the Finance Department always deserve some thanks. Charlotte Stefano managed the bid process for us for the County Procurement Office. And CJ Jones, who's standing in the back there, doesn't want to be recognized, is the Capital Projects Supervisor. And CJ keeps me straight, keeps us on budget. When I say things like, I want this really cool thing, it's going to be so amazing. He keeps me down on earth. And, it's all right. I have a different approach to building design than he did. Together we make a good team. And I'm sure I'm leaving some names out, but truly thanks to all of the county staff who helped make things possible. I'd like to invite Board of Calvert Library Trustee President Jeffrey Lewis.
Wow, what an exciting day here. We've been working on this for years, it feels like, since I joined the board 6 years ago now, and it's exciting that we're finally breaking ground today. So those who don't know, my name is Jeffrey Lewis, and it's my honor to serve as the president of the Board of Library Trustees. On behalf of the board, I want to thank Carrie and the county commissioners for all this hard work. The county is funding 60% of this project through the capital improvement budget. The Twin Beaches branch has been bursting at the seams for many years, thanks to a very creative staff led by branch manager Melissa and assistant branch manager Sandy. The community has had access to a very cozy but usable 4,800 square feet facility. All right, it's tiny. Doesn't sound small, but it's tiny. We are thrilled to be breaking ground today the new 21st century library that will be ADA accessible and nearly quadruple the size at almost 16,000 net square feet. There will be meeting rooms, quiet study areas, public communities, computers, Wi-Fi, space for teens, children, and adults, outdoor space, and so much more. There will even be a break room for staff who have been washing their lunch dishes in the staff bathroom for the past 30 years. So love it, it's just in the kitchen. Last, I'd like to thank the Executive Director, Carrie Wilson, who has led this effort, applied for many state grants, and kept it all at an answer, was always asked. So thank you again, Carrie, staff, county officials, county employees. This wouldn't happen if it wasn't for all of you. So thank you.
So, thank you, Mr. Lewis. The Library Board is a 7-member volunteer board appointed by the county commissioners. They provide policy and fiscal oversight for the library. And a number of different combinations of board members have been part of this project. And they all deserve a huge thanks for unflagging support to make this library happen. Pat Hoffman, the former director of the library system, worked on this project while she was the director. I've been the director for almost 9 years, and so that's a lot of boards of trustees. My current trustees, Martha Graham, Kat Batley, Ron Krupe, Doug Alves, Delegate Rachel Jones, and Wilson Perrin, who couldn't be here today. But there are a number of former board members here as well. Carolyn McHugh, Catherine Grasso. I've probably missed a couple of the people in the crowd. But thank you all very much for your persistence in making this happen. It's now my pleasure to invite Maryland State Librarian Irene Padilla to make a few comments.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is such a beautiful area. I know it looks even better when the sun shines, but it looks great when it's gray and a little chilly, then you know it's a really nice area. So, and I know it's been quite a while that you've been working on getting this library. That's pretty typical for a library. I would say, though, the general rule of thumb is about 10 years, and I think you've exceeded that by just a few. But I think we can all agree that library facilities are very crucial. That was proven during the pandemic when we couldn't get into our libraries, and I had to make do with accessing them digitally, electronically. But then we were looking at the issue of how do we get our Wi-Fi? How do people who don't have access to broadband get their information? Libraries provided access to computers, digital resources, and opportunities to develop skills that are very valuable, as Carrie says, for lifelong learning. So we at the state started a program, was approved by the General Assembly in 2008 to provide funding for public library capital needs. And going into this coming fiscal year 2023, That's the 16th year that the state assistance will be available to our public libraries in Maryland. And program priorities are really, the main one is geographic diversity, so that we aren't sending all the money to the more populated areas of the state or those who have more money. And also stimulating local support for library facilities, so that it's a partnership with the state. And since the inception of the program, $82,325,000 has been authorized for public library construction, renovations, etc. And this, the beauty of this is it's leveraged more than $370 million in local matching funds. So it truly is a partnership. So, and that, as you can see, is 4 times the amount of the state's investment. However, I'm going to give this pitch right now while I have your rapt attention. The need continues. Libraries in Maryland have $175 million in capital needs. And the County Public Library Program is here to help improve infrastructure, provide better library services to our communities, and create jobs. So getting back to this area, the first state capital grant for the Twin Beaches branch was $300,000 in state capital funds and was awarded to Calvert Library in 2020 for design and construction. Well, I guess Carrie is good at getting money, because this was followed by $2 million in 2022, and pending certification of the local match and final approval by the Board of Public Works in early June, it'll be another $2.5 million for construction for fiscal 2023. So that adds up to a total of $4.8 million, and I think we owe a big thank you to our governor for his generosity, his concern and care about libraries, and his willingness to fund this program. And we look forward to the construction. I too look forward to being back here next year around this time. Let's hope construction goes well. It'll be sometime in the spring. And I know this will mean so much to your community. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Irene. Because it's all state-oriented, I want to introduce and give a moment to speak to Delegate Rachel Jones. Part of the job of the legislature is to approve the $7.5 million annually that goes into the capital grant programs. Delegate Jones.
Good afternoon, everyone. So it's always my pleasure to be with friends of the library, truly, because I consider myself one. Thank you to Mayor Benton and to Mayor Mahoney. Thank you, Carrie. As the Executive Director of Calvert Library, I've had the opportunity to watch your passion for the library system here and for bringing a project like this to fruition. Thank you to our county commissioners. It's already been discussed, all the funding levels, and we understand that this has been a long time coming. You'll hear me say at just about every library event that there's ever going to be, and I said this to Carrie when I first met her when she first came in, I am a product of Calvert Library. I'm a product of this library system. Growing up as a child, I lived just off of Main Street and was in the Prince Frederick Library several times a week. Myself and my 4 siblings, my mother kept us in the library. So I know what it looks like to grow up, to have access to the resources, to education, to knowledge, to the tools, to the programs that libraries offer, that this library system in particular offers. And so knowing that now we're going to have this new facility, a new library that's larger, that will be able to provide more resources to more people in the community at a time, I think that it's just an excellent, I like to feel like I'm a good example of what happens when children particularly have access to the books. And we know that we have a lack of broadband access. You know, obviously the county's been working to expand that and fund that, but broadband is a major issue. And so given the digital age that we're in, the resources that students and members of the community are going to have to access to digital resources is tremendous and invaluable. And so on today, I know we're all here because we all consider ourselves friends and supporters of the library, but I ask you to continue to support the library, and I do look forward to seeing you all at the official ribbon cutting. But thank you for your support for this library. We are all excited to see to see the final product and to know that this is just going to be a tremendous asset to the community. So thank you.
And then the last piece of our state part, Governor Hogan sent a citation along that I'd asked Secretary Owens to read for us.
Thank you, Jerry, very much. It's an honor to represent the governor, lieutenant governor, and my piece of government, the Department of Veterans Affairs. I had no idea that I would be dispatched to read this. The other job is acting as former Mayor Mark Frazier's coat rack. In case you were wondering. Where are you, Mark? There you are. Don't leave without it. On a serious note, this town hall has evolved over the many years into what it is today. It's a sign of the growth of this town. And how would I know that? Because I still go to the church I've been going to since 1954, which is right next door. Having grown up on Bay Avenue, I've seen the town evolve. I had to leave, came back, left again, but you can never get away. When they say you can't go home anymore, they're wrong. I can't get away from this place, much as I like to try now and then. Kerry has given me the honor of reading the governor's citation, so let me do that. And Delegate Jones, like you, I learned to read at home. From the governor of the state of Maryland to the Calvert Library, Twin Beaches branch. Greetings, be it known to all on behalf of the citizens of this state, in recognition of a tribute to honor the Calvert Library, Twin Beaches branch, with congratulations on the special milestone celebrating your success and commitment to providing exceptional customer service and opportunities to explore, learn, and create the community. And as the people of Maryland join together in expressing our great respect and best wishes for future successes, we're pleased to confer upon you this governor's citation. And it is reportedly signed the 24th day of May, 2022. I suppose I give this to you, Carrie. Okay, if you take this. Thank you very much. It is important to me as a grandparent because just next to the American Legion reside my two grandsons, 13 and going on 16. And they are products of the Calvert County school system, as I am. And I can tell you right now, it's one of the finest systems. Well, I'm not a product of a good example of how good the school system is. But be that as it may, I'm very proud of the school system here. The teachers we had then and the teacher we have now are exceptional, and I will stand behind the system. And you can thank a lot of the praise goes to the commissioners and their strong support of the system that we have in this county. So, damn, Mark. Is the new library, where's the library? Is the new library air conditioned? Because this building sure as hell ain't. Okay, enough theatrics, but again, the school system here is great. This is going to be just an offshoot of a continuation. And before I leave, I need to tell you that we partner with the library system in the state of Maryland through my department. As you know, I was hoping you were going to give me a shout out, but you didn't do that. So I'll give myself a shout out. But we do partner, the department does partner with the Library Association in the state for some very exciting things that are occurring within the Department of Veterans Affairs. Thank you all. Kerry, thank you very much.
So we have come to that part in the program where we're shifting from the funding and all the funding pieces that have made this possible to the location. And I'd like to thank both of our next two speakers as well as the former mayor of North Beach, Mark Frazier. Both towns have been excellent hosts to Calvert Library. Our first Twin Beaches branch opened where Bayside History Museum currently resides. That was in 1981. 10 years later, the library moved to its current location in the captain's quarters in Chesapeake Beach. Both towns offered their hospitality for this new facility, and it was a very competitive, and now that it's over, I'll say it was also a very collegial process with the Board of Library Trustees. I'm grateful to all three of you and to the town councils, both past and present, for the work and supported the library over the years. So I'll say, well, I'm going to let Mayor Benton speak first. I want to thank some of your staff first. Don Richardson was instrumental in planning today's event and in making sure we could do it indoors. Stacy Myler is absolutely the best at getting letters of support signed quickly for my state grants. Donnie Bowen has served on our design team while in the brick rump. Donnie and his team are flexible and incredibly helpful, especially today. So I want to recognize that North Beach donated the land for this project that we wish we were standing on, as well as Commissioner Hans said, $250,000 that we used for the design process. That's allowed us to move some of that $300,000 and its matching funds from design over to construction so that I can have more of the nice things that I want. CJ tries to keep me in line. Mayor Benton, please.
Well, I can honestly say I never enjoyed following that gentleman speak here. I'm not sure how he bumped me way down here, but we'll leave it at that and we'll go from there as a fellow North Beacher. I wanted to start off by, this has been going on for a long time. I've heard stories 20 years, and it's been to a point, stop, to a point, stop. And I cannot thank everyone for the desire to get the beach or the Twin Beach Library new, built, and relocated if needed. And it has been a massive team effort. But I do want to thank everyone involved, but I do want to make sure that I personally thank former Mayor Mark Frazier and Councilwoman Gwen Chiat in the back. When Gwen told me that she was going to have to step down off the council, I said, well, that's fine, but you're staying on the library board part of it, I'm telling you that now. And she goes, well, I might be in the Bahamas. I don't care, phones work, we're in COVID, you're fine. And I cannot thank her enough because she stayed on top of it. We've had hundreds of conversations, and I think that's what really made this project today special. If you look around the room, it just wasn't North Beach or not Chesapeake Beach. It is everyone coming together to make this dream come true. And when you look at the photos, this is going to North Beach, folks. We're pretty proud of that. That thing's amazing. Growing up here in the 70s and 80s and being a part of that little library, which was the very first fire department. And I do believe the first library in Calvert was in North Beach. If not, I'm starting that rumor today, so good. But I'm pretty sure it was. Grace Mary told me if she's here, she would defend it. She's not here, so you got to believe me. But even through all the setbacks and all, we're here today for this special occasion. I'm excited. And Commissioner Hans, I'm sure back there to that left of you were shaking when you said it'd be ready in 12 months. But hey, we're going to go with that. We're going to go with that. I'm pretty sure Joey right there is starting to shake too. But if it takes a year, 18 months, 2 years, I can't wait to see everybody back to see the ribbon cutting because it is going to be the library of the state. And I appreciate you coming. God bless you all. Thank you so much.
Mayor Benton is referencing, Grace Mary's been doing a lot of research on history. There was a library incorporated in 1939, I think, or somewhere. I'm terrible with details. I'm looking at Robin in the back. She's not giving me any signs, so I'm probably wrong. There was a library incorporated early. We're not sure that it ever actually opened, and we're not sure if it was truly a public library insofar as everyone being welcome in it. So we're leaving that detail out of our official remarks for today. And we'll bring that into the ribbon cutting when we're absolutely sure. Before I give Mayor Pat Mahoney a chance to speak, I want to particularly thank Chesapeake Beach for being a wonderful home for the Twin Beaches branch for the last 30 plus years. Thanks are due as well to the former mayors, current and past town councils for funding part of the annual lease costs for the captain's quarters. Your support has been unwavering and invaluable to the library and to the community. Mayor Mahoney?
Hi everybody. This is an absolutely great day for anybody who lives in the Twin Beach area or will move to and live in the Twin Beach area. And I say that because I was recollecting, I guess in the early 90s when we were house shopping and looking for our Mayberry to raise our little boy, and we found it. You know, we came down the road, and I said, you know, to my wife, I said, what is it? Church on the right, it's American Legion on the left. You hit the bay, you've got Town Hall, you got football fields, you got Beach Elementary. You go to the left, you not only have a fire department, you have Neptune's Pub and North Beach. But it was missing one thing. There was this library sort of stuck in the back of what people told me was called the Howland Building. Now, once you got inside, it was great because under the leadership of Joni there and Pat, who we all love, but it was still this building that climbed up steps in the back of that building over there that no one really knew what it was all about. So, from this point forward, we are going to have the state-of-the-art library that we deserve. And I really, I'm happy for everybody. I hope to be one of the first people to walk in that building. But before I go, I really want to thank, the people that I was working with who made it all happen. The library board of trustees, they were phenomenal in their arduous work. My good friend Mayor Fraser over there, he just never gave up. He did a great job. I want to thank his council, his staff, and even his architect who's sitting back there. Mark, my mother had an old saying. She said, there's nothing wrong with being wrong, but admit when you're wrong. And what I want to say is, you all picked the right location. North Beach rocks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I really want to thank all the community members who came out into the rain today to celebrate with us. Many of you participated in the design process that was led by the design team with HBM Architects under the guidance of the primary architectural firm Collmore. And Ash Belgi and Charlie Downs are here with Collmore today, so thanks guys, they're in the back there. Everyone at both of those firms have been amazing to work with, and we're going to have a really beautiful and functional space. And I'm still going to say it's going to be 18 months. I'm an optimist, but I'm going to give you guys some wiggle room there between 12 and 18. Speaking of on time and under budget, I do want to recognize that John Bailey, the third generation CEO of Chesapeake Construction, and Rich, whose last name starts with an M and I've lost it. Mellon, thank you, Rich Mellon. And Joe Schwartz, who's been assigned as the project manager, are all here from Chesapeake Construction, so thank you, gentlemen. What Commissioner Hans said, we're thrilled that a local firm got the project and are going to work with us to bring this to fruition. I also want to repeat Jeffrey's thanks to the library staff, especially those that have served on the design team, for their energy and input in the planning process and their patience while this project is forward. It seems slow, but it's actually, it's just the way things are. Jeffrey also mentioned our retired branch manager, Joni Kellman. I wanted to say special recognition to her for how much she's contributed to the library and to the beaches communities. Pat Hoffman, I mentioned earlier, is also here today. She deserves to be recognized as the former director of the library and the planter of the seed that is now becoming the new Twin Beaches branch. And I'd be remiss if I didn't also recognize the two organizations that help make some of the fancy special things in the library possible. Our Friends of Calvert Library and the Calvert Library Foundation. Martha Graham, who's, you can coffee, so go for it. Martha Graham, who's the president of our Friends group and also member of the board of trustees, is here today. The Friends do a lot of kind of the smaller things when we need a book cart or we need to pay for food for our teen programming. The Friends step in and take care of that. But they also do so well raising money that they also do replacement furniture and funded the funding gap for our new bookmobile. They're a fantastic group and they're looking forward to helping with funding for the new branch. The foundation does our larger capital projects. So they're kicking off a capital campaign that will help fund the difference between whatever is in the budget and what it actually ends up costing. So again, holding you to it, but not too tightly. So, I just can't believe I said that out loud. Absolutely, I mean, the budget's the budget, right? Buddy Hans is back there, don't listen to her. Anyway, the foundation will be raising money for the special touches, like the teen gaming area, the maker space, where we'll have 3D printers and laser cutters and goodness knows what else that everyone in the community can come in and use to create things and learn new skills. The Children's Imagination Station, and much more. So huge thank you to all those volunteers who believe so deeply in the mission of the library and work so hard to support it. I'm going to thank Therese Wells and Deb Busy for standing out in the rain today, handing out parking passes. Thank you both. And those parking passes were very generously donated by Ron Russo and his family for the parking area down there. So thank you, Ron. I know. Thank you, sir. So that is, I think that is, I'm sure there's more thank yous that need to be said. I actually, while I'm looking, there's some members of the Miller family here today, and I just want to recognize that Senator Miller, it was he who put forward the legislation and started the Capital Project Fund that's administered by the State Library. And now, all of you who are willing, we're going to try in about 15 minutes to reconvene down the street at the site of the soon-to-be new Twin Beaches Branch Library. We're going to move, get our special fancy shovels out and some hard hats and move some ceremonial dirt. I do want to thank Tom Jones and the terrific Calvert County Buildings and Grounds team for putting up tents and bringing in ceremonial dirt for us. But we'll see you down the street. Thank you all.